Good morning, Marla.
Good
How are you?
morning.
Thank you for accepting the invitation for this interview, and let's get started.
And thank you for inviting me to this introduction.
So, you made it. First historic cohort of Neurographica instructors that took instructions and studied in English for the first time in history. Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's talk about it. So go ahead and just introduce yourself, and we'll hear your story, your journey into the Neurographica.
Okay. So my name is Marla Crowley, and I live in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I have lived here since 1984, and I love the Southwest. I love this area because the arts are very important to the indigenous people, but also to the people that travel and come here. And so even though I own a software company, which I have been very involved with for the last 30 years, 35 years, I have always done some form of art in my life, and it has always been very important to me, but I haven't always had the time, especially because of other types of studies that I've done that have just, taken my time. And recently, over the last few years, I got involved in something called encaustics, which is like a warm wax, and collage made from natural paper. And I really enjoyed this process and thought that I would potentially want to move forward in sharing it with other people. And so I got into the abstract concepts a lot. And I joined a small group of people that met once a week and shared the art that they were doing. And it was an eclectic group. And so it was nice. People would come together, share their work, and, give the other people ideas, and they would share classes they were taking. And so one week, this woman says, "Oh, I did this great thing this weekend. I did," and she held up this piece of paper. "I did Neurographica." And so I looked at it and I said, "Bring it closer to the camera." We were on Zoom, and she did. And I was like, "Wow, that is really cool. What is that?" And she said, "Oh, it's a drawing technique, and you can learn about it online. There are teachers." And she said, "When I get stressed, I like to sit on my front porch and do this." Well, as soon as we hung up, I started researching Neurographica and got very excited. And I I saw a lot of different videos, and it became clear to me that there were people, I learned that there was a difference between neuro art and Neurographica. And it became clear that Neurographica had a deeper presence as far as connecting to your, let's just say, your inner self, your unconscious, through everyone sort of talked about de-stressing with it, or a meditation through it. And so that really appealed to me. So I looked at a bunch of teachers, and then I saw this one video with Margarita Amrita, and I sent her a note and said, "Oh, I would like to talk to you." So we did an interview, and I signed up immediately. And basically, I couldn't stop doing it. I was waking up thinking about it, going to sleep thinking about it. And I just loved how it really did de-stress. And she would look at the drawings and make some recommendations. And I think I did 12 drawings. And then after that basic course ended, I continued on just on my own doing it. And then one day I saw that there was the first time instructor's course in English, because I said to her, what if I want to continue on? I could see myself working with other people or sharing this with other people, which was what I had contemplated doing with the other work that I had been studying, the encaustics and collage. But for that kind of work, one, it has to be ventilated. There's a lot of equipment. And, I felt that you can only really work with one person. Then, of course, COVID happened and everything is on Zoom. And, the dots started connecting. And I was like, oh, I think I could really get into this. And so a few more months went by and I kept wanting to do it. I wondered about, how long it would take me to become proficient and good, and what other trainings there were. And Margarita shared them with me about specialists and instructors. And then there was an announcement that there was this course, first time in English. And I'm like, oh my God, got to do it. So I attended the demonstrations that Anton had organized, and it was wonderful to hear Pavel and Anton talk about, what we would be doing. And I have to say, the one thing that Anton said during that, I think it was 1:30 in the morning when Anton started drawing. And I was shocked. I mean, by that time it had been ready. And I thought he was just going to come on and talk. And he goes, well, let's draw. I was like, at 1 a.m. Oh my God. I was really exhausted. And so I really got into it. It kind of woke me up in a certain way. And, but when he was speaking with people, the one thing he said is, no matter what, at the end of this course, you will know how to draw. You'll feel confident in drawing, and you'll have a tool for yourself. And I actually never really was drawn to drawing. I wondered why people spent so much time drawing. It's like, why would you sit and draw? But I did do calligraphy for several years and actually had a small business doing it. And I loved that. But like drawing, I just hadn't been exposed to it. I really didn't know what it was like. I would say that I was not confident to even study it or even know where to study it. And I thought, that's actually one thing in life that, I think that I could learn. I mean, I think that I could expand inside if I could learn. And I felt through his message that, yeah, this was a place I could do that without going to art school for 4 years. So anyway, I signed up for the course. And then the first absolute almost scare or fear was, I don't have time to take this on. This is going to be a lot of time. And so, I just thought it's on video, so you can do it at your own pace. And I thought that I would just get into it and do it and see what happened. And I could feel that I was getting stressed by fitting this in with my company that also I already didn't have enough time for. And I was doing a drawing about time for Neurographica, time for the instructor's course. It was all about the instructor's course and time, how I was going to do this. I mean, it was like the big white elephant in the room, you know, it's like, ah. And I was doing a drawing, and through the drawing, I don't know exactly how this works or how this happened, but a kitty came up in the drawing. And I had wanted a cat at one point and didn't get one. And then this idea of a kitty, well, of course, a few days later, I go pick up some breakfast burritos and they have this cat tent, you know, cat adoption. And I go in there going, I'm not going to get a cat, you know, and I'm just going to go look at them. Well, one, of course, picked me, and I had a dream about it. And the next day, there I was picking up this kitty. And what is so interesting is the cat got me up early in the morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. And it was the perfect choice to bring a cat into my life, get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, have my coffee, and draw. And it made it so easy. It was like, it was such a simple change in my life because, you know, I was getting up around that time anyway, doing various things. And I just said, this is my time to draw. And so it was like problem solved. There I was every day. I had my art stuff set out and I would get up and draw. And then it was like, God, that was such a simple solution. I mean, it worked perfectly for me. And I had a kitty. Of course, I wondered, why am I getting a kitty when I'm too busy? But anyway, so that's how I got introduced to Neurographica. I think Margarita was a fabulous teacher. And then I got introduced to more teachers who I didn't even find. I'm not sure how Margarita even came up, but it, you know, worked out great. And now I think I have, you know, 5 or 6 favorites, and they're all great. They all do something different. And, you know, I just want to say also, each teacher has a very unique style that is all their own, and it comes out, they share something, some wisdom that comes from their life experience that comes out in Neurographica and the teachings, but they're sticking to the method. So if you study with a certified teacher, you're getting the method, but then you're getting a little bit of, you know, there are different personalities or there are different backgrounds, and they're all different and they're all really fantastic. You know, so anyway, I've studied with several of them now, and I finished the instructor's course, and yeah, I'm very happy I did this. Oh, and I feel I can draw. It's an amazing thing, actually. Yeah. So that's how I got started.
Wow. Amazing, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. It's really incredible. Yeah. And other things have happened also. You know, the drawings for me, when I do the rounding, it's very meditative for me. And when I do the archetyping, it is very inspirational. Something happens when I start using the colors that correspond to the specific algorithm that connect to what it is I'm trying to, I'm going to say, learn more about, or be open to inspiration or guidance in a certain area of my life. And I love, I love the process of having it include color. And that really works for me. It talks to me on a really deep level.
So, any favorite algorithms for you? Something that is like your sort of your thing now that you've kind of covered pretty much the whole.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, one, I want to say I love the fact that there's many types of algorithms. So you can dive deeper into problem solving or even inspiration and guidance. And the algorithm that's my favorite wasn't my favorite in the beginning, which is very funny because I was like, why are we doing this? Okay, so if someone doesn't know what it is they want to draw about, they can do this algorithm, the ARI, the algorithm of revealing. And instead of the algorithm of resolving or, yeah, the ARI is so free, and you can take it, you can take a small pad with you anywhere, on the train, on the plane, passenger in a car happens for me a lot. I'm like, oh, do you mind if I draw while we're driving? And I love it because it gives an opportunity. It gives your unconscious an opportunity to reveal something to you. So yeah, I think that it is absolutely my favorite. Yeah. And it's amazing, what sort of shows up. Yeah.
Well, I second that. That became my favorite algorithm as well. And when it kind of got validated in the timeline, I think I felt pretty happy that, yeah, intentions and revealing your intentions is what could be better.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Liberating. So
yes. Yeah. Yeah. And so it really is my go-to. I just love when I can pull it out. And then sometimes I'll pull out, different colors ahead of time because I know I'm going to do that, but I'm really drawn to these colors. So then I think, probably I'm drawn to what those colors do for me and what they mean. The 5 element system and the chakra system of understanding colors has been, well, let's say I'm accumulating a library. And when I sit down to read, I am definitely diving into color theory through mostly the 5 element system, but just the emotional connections to colors. And
amazing. So would you like to share with us your future plans? How is that gonna unfold for you from now on? Now
well,
that you have a little bit more time to yourself now that the course is done.
kind of. Now I'm like, seems like other projects are coming up, like my space. I want to have it be a much more harmonious space. So now I'm diving into, really turning my art space into something to really support my drawings, and also to create a space so I can work with people. My website is almost complete, and I've started giving it to people to introduce them to Neurographica. And I'm in the supervisor course or process that is being offered with Anna. And I'm very much looking forward to participating in that. I think it will deepen my understanding and studies of in working with people. I do plan on doing groups and individually as well, working with people. And my process is, really geared towards people who are industries who are suffering mentally the most. And it's interesting because in where I live in Santa Fe, we have a controlled burn that has gone haywire, and it's only 21% contained, and it's now larger than all 5 boroughs of New York City. And it's basically not controlled. And I mean, there are the firefighters and the people that are in this immediate like panic. When I hear, or speak to, people who are evacuating, and in fact, that gives me a thought. There's a big center here, people who are evacuating. And so what my thought is for these kinds of situations and people, boy, it would be so beautiful and wonderful and healing to my soul to be able to possibly introduce them to something that they could just sit there with a pad and learn how to do something very deep and maybe constructive that could kind of de-stress them. Yeah. And so, so I'm looking for opportunities that will be, I want to say needed, really needed. And then from those, I'm sure I'll have, one-on-one and individuals that I'll do as well. Yeah.
Beautiful. I can relate. I'm a very pragmatic person. My education and background is like magic. Come on. We had fires. You and I are neighbors.
Yes, yes.
A little bit. So when we had the Flagstaff and Prescott fire just a month ago, and literally was pretty much when I realized that our land is being surrounded by fire, and I was like, I'm just gonna go do shamanic rain. And I had several drawings, and I'm like, yeah, right. We were not touched by fire. Now I can say because it's been already a month, but neighbors' cabin actually burned pretty much to the ground. And as much as, I have that sadness, but in my mind, I committed my intention to that drawing. So, powerfully that I was just like, okay, well, it was very humbling experience. Like, well, who am I to stop the fire? And then there was that thought, I'm going to do it anyways. And I can tell that for me to just like live through that, that week of uncertainty with the fire, and sort of kind of checking, testing is like, well, let's see if it works. Right? So when we were allowed to go see it, we were fine. There was like smoke inside the house, inside the cabin, but it didn't touch us. And I was like, okay.
Isn't that
when it is, whatever works.
Yes.
But yeah, I enjoy your thoughts that, that's, forest is, it's a living creature, but to take care of people, I think it's such an important function that if we can offer that, that's where I think we expand and we connect as community, helping one another, and just like, hey, fellow neighbor from the next state, can we do shamanic rain, please?
That's a great idea. Yeah.
It's just the
Yeah.
expansiveness, that global reach, that doesn't matter where we are, but just the human connection that is starting to
Yes.
become real tangible
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I do, I feel that I will can I'll be growing through these opportunities. What is kind of right in front of me, I'm going to expand probably way more than I did even in the instructor's course. And yeah, at some point I will love that opportunity to instruct others and teach others, and introduce the algorithms that help someone really connect to Neurographica, to then become instructors themselves.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
Before we know, we'll be a big family of people here, and
yeah, yeah. It's
one
wonderful.
day doing the face-to-face of Facebook, of Zoom, real meeting the people.
Yeah,
On big
yes.
table doing
We'll have a
Neurographica.
we'll have a conference.
We have a conference.
Yeah,
Hey,
in
good
Santa
one.
Fe, maybe.
Santa Fe.
Yes,
Yeah.
everyone loves to come to Santa Fe.
Yeah, I do. And yeah, as I mentioned, to me, Santa Fe area is really has that touch of Russian fine art and culture. And
Oh,
hopefully, if we can do the conference at the Petchen House in Taos,
oh, wouldn't that be fantastic?
we just planted the thoughts.
Yes, yes,
One
exactly.
day.
Yeah. I have to say, when I first moved to Santa Fe, I was so excited about the opportunity for the arts. I mean, I had always, like, my mother was a stained glass artist, and I was always doing, like I said, I did calligraphy for several years, and other, creative endeavors. But when I came here, it was fascinating, like to go down Canyon Road to see the galleries, and then what happens here, which I think happens, everywhere, but at this point, and maybe it always has, but in Santa Fe especially, like the artists come out and they demonstrate. So when there are these art tours, these art walks, and you go right up to the artist and you talk to the artist who's doing them. And so I think I was only here a month or so, and there was a very cool watercolorist, and oh, he did this. I saw his work and I saw him demonstrate, and I'm like, oh, I have to study with him. I had no experience with watercolor at all. He was teaching it was an advanced watercolor class, right? And it was not inexpensive. They were paying for this man and his expertise. And I'm like, I need to sign up for that class. So I talked to him and I said, I've done calligraphy, I've worked, a little bit with collage and paper. And I said, I've never done watercolor. Can I do your class? And he goes, really? You want to sign up for my class? And I said, well, I think if I signed up from your class, I would at least get exposed to what this is. And then maybe I will then kind of, decipher and separate down where I should really begin. And he said, absolutely, you can join my class. So there I was there were some famous artists in this class, and there I was going, how do you hold the brush? Anyway, I walked away from that, and there was a spark inside of me that I later did anthroposophical watercolor, which is painting out of Goethe's theory of color, which I loved. And yeah, but that was my spark. And that was why I was undaunted to take the instructor's course. I was like, yes, I like kind of throwing myself into the intensity. And I never knew how to draw. Kind of, maybe I'm, feeling a little self-conscious about drawing. So of course, this is the place to go.
And here you are.
And here I am. And I love drawing. Now I just want to draw, all the time.
Would you say it's just pretty much just getting started for you?
Yeah. Let it open it up and let it rip.
Guys, wow.
Yes.
Well, I want to, have a conversation with you too. A year from now, when we maybe finish up with the second cohort, and
Yes.
capture your thoughts and your revelations on being a supervisor. How did that expand your understanding of Neurographica, and what did you learn? How deep did you go?
Yeah. That would be wonderful. Yeah, I anticipate it being, I think Pavel said it somewhere, or Anton, I'm not sure, but yeah, to me, it feels like, things are just going to keep unfolding for 3 or 4 years, and then, 100 or 200 drawings. And then, you really start getting that deep understanding of how this really works. However, that being said, I love the fact that in the instructor's course, when people shared their drawings, we were all at kind of different levels, and everyone's was different, and they were all beautiful. So they all had this aesthetic, beautiful quality to them. And so that's what I like about this. It really does come from within. And so you're able to express your, your messages or your inspirations on such an individual level. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's wonderful. And I just see that unfolding more and more, And then lastly, I just have to say, if this kind of drawing can tell me to get a kitty so that I can do a whole course. And then now I have this beautiful friend cat who is so sweet and so special, who always wants to get on my drawings, who loves when I draw. Just such a beautiful experience.
Wow. And maybe on the just the last final note, let me ask you a practical suggestion or advice for people that are still thinking or just started. Mm-hmm. What would you recommend they do? Maybe some organizing tips or something that just comes to mind, like, well, here you go.
Sure. Well, so one of my things is I'm really organized. Well, things can get very disorganized, but then I have to organize them. I'm always trying to figure out how to stay organized so that things don't become overwhelming or clutter or ease. I'm looking for the ease of how to organize learning. And for the first month or two, I was like, oh, I should do it this way and I should organize it that way. And there is a tip that I will say. One is I pretty much always drew sitting very comfortably on a couch, and I hand wrote my reflection process. Because for me, I'm at the computer all the time. My company is software. And so I wanted something that was, handwriting. And then later I put my notes in the computer and I printed them and put them just on the back of my drawing. But what I did, which really helped, so I'm going to grab it. So what I did is, okay, so here's a good example. Okay, so I found these binders, which I really love. And I have it, so this one is basic user. So these are the basic user drawings, and I have one for every single module, okay? And so that's my first drawing. And on the back is the, underneath is the handwritten note. And then sometimes I just wrote it on the back of the actual drawing, and then I typed it out. And so every drawing that I have is done that way. And so when it came time to, this is my ARI, when it came time to pull these together for the tests, and then also the notes are in here as well, the notes from the courses, it was so easy for me. I would just pull out the individual modules. Yeah. I love it. Great. Yeah. This was the best thing. It took me about 2 months and I was like, I've got it. So anyway, that's what I will teach people to do as well. Yeah. That made it so easy. And then I could relax. I would draw out sitting on the swing outside. Yeah. But then it was very important for me to come back and type out the notes, because if I didn't, I couldn't read my handwriting sometimes, so soon after I would type them out. But anyway, that's my tip.
Wow. So we did a little show and tell in the end.
Yes, I love it. Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, just to, for a new student, they're done in videos, so you can repeat them. I repeated the videos many times, but also you can send in your questions and get answers. And yeah, it had a really nice flow. Yeah. Yeah. And you'll learn to draw after.
And there's more.
Yes.
There's more.
Yeah.
Cool. And on this very, very positive, very practical note, we'll conclude. Great. And at some point we'll continue. I think it's a great practice of just like really capturing all of this precious experience. Mm-hmm. I would like to wish you beautiful neurographic success in every direction that your neuroline will take you.
Thank you.
And I look forward to meeting you in person and online. Yeah. And this is just the beginning.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Wonderful. Talk soon. Bye-bye.